Welcome to Looking at Legal Stuff. Today we have 7 hearings in a case with a couple who are in court over finalizing the details of their parenting plan, but they can't seem to stop bickering and making all sorts of accusations against one another over things like who picks up their child from daycare, whether mom took grandma off the pickup list, accusations of drug use and relapse, and whether dad called CPS on mom over concerns about mom's ex-boyfriends, just to name a few. Mom keeps interrupting others and making outbursts during the hearings, and she has a tantrum in front of the judge and makes accusations against the GAL, claiming she's taking too long and isn't doing her job properly, despite the fact that the GAL has over 700 pages of CPS records to sift through. What does the judge think of Mom's behavior? Let's find out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, this is Lacey Harlan. I was curious if we could possibly do Harlan and Wade. I need to get to work if that was possible.
Okay, let's go ahead and take that case, and then we'll go to Estrada after that.
Thank you.
All right, I think Ms. Fellows is here and Mr. Wade is here. Let me just pull that up on my computer. All right, Ms. Harlan was asked to do a hair follicle test, which she did, and Ms. Fellows filed that with the court. I noted it was positive for marijuana and also positive for whatever substance it is at the end of the list. I was interested in Ms. Fellows and your take on that test and how you view it, given the issues of the parties.
Yes, Your Honor. This is actually a 12-panel UA. It was requested because the hair follicle test that she did prior did not reflect the Suboxone that she had reported that she was on. So that's why that was ordered. So that is what is listed at the end. It's basically the Suboxone.
Okay.
So in my mind, this is exactly what I figured it would show. So I have no concerns regarding that.
Okay. All right. How I changed the visitation situation a little bit last time we were together. How has that been working out? Let's start with Ms. Harlan.
It's been awesome. I really appreciate it very much.
Okay, I've got Mr. Wade shaking his head. So, Mr. Wade, what's your view of how it's been working out?
You had me set it up to where, and I think there was some confusion because she has him now more than me, but let's get started with the daycare situation. She was just supposed to, you had me set it up to where she can drop him off and pick him up Thursday and Friday. I talked to Beth, and my son had hand, foot, and mouth disease, and so he couldn't go there when she had him. So there's an issue with her son that, he's cousin and all that stuff, and it's just a serious issue that needs to be addressed. And she got him more days, but she took my mom off of the pickup and drop off list.
No, I have not. I can't touch any of that.
Let Mr. Wade finish.
Sorry.
And then outside of the place, she was screaming and cussing at my mom, telling her to go do drugs with your son, flipping her off, driving crazy out of there. Really not a good thing to be doing at the daycare. The daycare people were standing right there and watched it all. And she did try to take my mom off the pickup list.
No.
And this is at core?
Yes.
Okay.
No,
and
I
also, before she had him Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and she dropped him off Monday morning with my mom. And so I had him the rest of the days. You gave her an extra day last time, and so now I have him 3 days, and I work, so I get him just a couple hours. And I filed this so, he was safe. She is not taking him to daycare Friday. She told my mom she was going to take the day off. She was at work. Beth recommended that maybe she have my mom watch him, and she had her friends watching him when CPS showed up her house. And JJ was there too.
JJ was at school.
Just a minute. We're not going to respond like this.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Mr. Wade will finish, and then I'll let you respond.
Okay, maybe JJ wasn't there, but the CPS lady thought that he was. But other than that, I would just like it to go back to the
Friday
previous,
through Monday morning.
yes, that would be better. So she doesn't have any access to the daycare and she can't mess that up. This is something that I set up. And yeah, it's just been a mess since this has happened. And yesterday, her friend and her were video recording me leaving Safeway. There's a protection order, and she shouldn't be doing that.
God. Your Honor, may I speak? My friend saw him at Safeway yesterday. I was not with her at all. I ended up seeing him a little bit later because I was taking Caitlin to go I dropped her off to go pick up her friend at Silver Star because her friend had been drinking. And that was while I was on my lunch break. She was with a girl named Bree that works at Safeway. My friend Caitlin was, and was picking up Bree from work and taking her home. And so they did see him, but that was it. Nobody was recording him. And I have never not taken him to daycare, other than when I wasn't supposed to, because he had, so last Sunday, or yeah, well, whatever, the Sunday before, whatever, he woke up with the hand, foot, and mouth, or puked Sunday early morning. And then so the next Monday, I called Lori, his mom, and told her that he was sick. So we met at Safeway at Ocean Beach, and I dropped him off with her. And then they had him. And then Thursday, I picked him up from Lori. And I have not tried to take her off of anything. I would never do that. I don't even know where that's coming up from. All I have, he signed papers for me to be able to pick him up and drop him off, and that was it. And it's just, this is getting ridiculous. He called CPS saying that someone's living at, that my child JJ's son or dad, Jamie, that he's named after, was living at my house, selling drugs out of my house and things like that, and which is not true at all. I've had 3 CPS workers contact me, and it's just ridiculous. He came back dirty for drugs, admitted that he was doing fentanyl and meth. His own mother is in treatment now too because she was doing drugs as well. Or supposed to be. That's what Miss Fellows just told me, that she was going to be getting into treatment too. So I think that things should stay the way they are. He has a nice big home. He's with me. And everything has been great and fine. I pick him up Thursday from daycare. I drop him off Friday morning. And then I drop him off Monday morning. And nothing has been that. I was 15 minutes late one morning to drop him off to daycare. And the only reason that is because kids take a little longer, to get out. He didn't want to go to daycare. Now he's been happy every time that he goes in. And there's actually been a few days when Cody has not went to work, and to drop him off just to Lori and stuff at the daycare, or Cody didn't go to work, so he didn't go to daycare, and I had to pick him up from her outside of the daycare. And it is court ordered that he goes to daycare, and he was not sick at that time or anything like that. Beth Fellows told me that it is court ordered for him to be at daycare, and that whether it be me or you, we are not supposed to take time off. We are not supposed to do anything to be able to do that. So
does he go to daycare on Fridays?
Yes, he goes to daycare on Fridays. I work. I have $2,000 in bills. I pay $1,600 a month for rent, and I pay water, sewer, garbage, everything like that too, and my cell phone. I have to work. I have bills to pay.
All right,
my son goes to school, everything, it's like everything's been fine. He's just trying to, I feel like he's mad. Sorry.
Just a minute. I want to hear from Ms. Fellows.
Yes, Your Honor. As you can tell, there's a lot of adversary issues between these parties. It's really hard at this point to figure out what's up and what's down. So I do know that the father has called CPS. There were 3 CPS workers that went out to the house, to the mother's house. I did make contact with the one that actually saw Cashton, the little one, in his matter.
Let me stop. I'm getting some feedback from Ms. Harlan. I'm going to mute you for the moment, and then you'll need to unmute yourself when you speak again. All right, thank you. Go ahead, Ms.
So I did talk to that CPS worker yesterday late afternoon, and she said that there were no concerns in the home. The home was clean. There was definitely a good bond and relationship between mother and son, Cashton. She saw JJ, the older son, as well. There was a little bit of concern regarding JJ, mainly because he's very, very angry. And he has issues because he was actually taken out of the mom's home. This is past history, but he just has a lot of fears of CPS coming into the home because of him being taken out of the mom's home when he was much younger. So that in and of itself makes it's understandable. But in essence, the CPS worker, Heather, didn't have any concerns about the mom's home, cleanliness, the bond. She said that Cashton was happy, healthy, no marks on him, no bruises on him, no blisters or anything else, because she knew about the hand, foot, mouth. She's been around it before, so she knows what it looks like. Said that there were no marks on him or anything else, so there wasn't any of those concerns. I am concerned about the issues between the parties and this back and forth stuff. I did try to I did let them know is that the court did order that the Cashton is to be in daycare. They're not to be taking time off to be able to spend time with him outside of the time that they're already ordered to have. It's important that Cashton have that interaction in daycare, and it just kind of sets up parameters and a routine for him and for these parents. At this time, you did make the changes to add time to mom. I had not recommended that, but the court felt that that was the direction they wanted to go. Because there's so much going on, I have no recommendations to make at this time other than to maintain status quo. And just the hope is that these parties will kind of let things quiet down and start this routine and things like that, so then I can work on my investigation. There's just so much back and forth stuff going on that it makes it extremely chaotic to try to figure out what's going on. They're keeping in contact with me, the parents are, but they're just pointing fingers and just this, that, and the other thing. And it makes me worried about any future interactions between these parents, but I will hope that things will quiet down a little bit. And regarding the grandmother, Cody's mother, the paternal grandmother, I am aware that she has engaged in some kind of support services through Core Health. I am not certain about whether or not she's in actual treatment. So just wanted to clarify that she is just getting some support services through Core Health, because she is an important part of the father's support system as well as Cashton's support system. So that's the information I have regarding that.
First of all, I think having the pickup and drop off at Core from daycare is something that is working. I'd like to continue. Second of all, I wanted to give Ms. Harlan more time with the child, but I'm not sure I wanted to move it to a position where she had clearly a lot of more time than the father. And that, I think that's what I did. And I think I need to make a shift on that. Okay. So,
Your Honor, please. I mean, he just came back dirty for fentanyl and meth. I mean, and his mom uses. It's just that I don't feel like that's fair. When I'm clean, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to. Like, I feel like I'm getting punished for him doing what's wrong.
you're not being punished. I'm trying.
I mean, though, now I'm losing time that I'm,
All weekend long. You don't work on the weekends, Lacey.
Miss
Why can't,
Harlan, your combative nature
I'm
today
sorry.
is
I'm
causing me a lot of concern.
I'm just
And,
upset.
and that is causing the guardian ad litem concern, and it's not going to serve you well in this proceeding. All right?
I'm sorry. He just keeps pointing fingers at me and just keeps trying to do and all I want to do is get along. I don't want to have to fight like this. I don't want things to be, I just want us to be able to be parents. That's all I want. Like, honestly, Your Honor, really, that's all I want.
Then you'll understand why I want to make things more equal. Okay? That's what I'm about to do. All right. So, where things are at now is Ms. Harlan has the child from Thursday after daycare until Monday morning. I'm going to change that so the first, third, and fifth weekends, if there's a fifth weekend, and that's based on Fridays, she'll have the child from Friday to Monday. And on the second and fourth weekend, she'll have the child from Thursday to Monday. So I'm building another day, 3 more days a month in for the father, which I think is going to equalize things a little bit better.
So then every other Thursday, he'll have him, is that what that is?
If it goes every other week, then every other week you have Thursday to Monday, every other week you have Friday to Monday.
If you're going to do that, my day's off for the weekends also, and so I'm only having him during the week, and that's when I work. So can I maybe get him on a weekend too?
That, I understand that's a concern that you don't have any weekends.
None.
And
I haven't since this is whole
Can I say something? If you look at his parenting plan, when he put it in, he asked for me to have weekends. That's what he asked for in the very beginning.
That was for the safety of my son, and now that they switched it around.
And that's when my son is there even more that you're worried about. So I'm sorry,
again, this combative nature by both of you really isn't going to help us. I'm going to keep the schedule as it is. I want Mr. Wade to know, I recognize he's not getting any weekends, and that's going to have to be rectified at some point. I want Ms. Fellows to finish her work in making recommendations, and then we may switch this whole visitation issue around in order to provide weekends to Mr. Wade. Ms. Fellows, how long do you think it'll take you to wrap up your work in this case?
Well, I would say 60 days, to be honest with you, because it's really just so important for me to get a feel for this working. And I haven't been able to peel back some of the layers, the concerns that Dad has about Mom. I haven't been able to peel back some of the layers about what Mom has concerned about Dad and things like that, just because there's been so much of this back and forth stuff. And I have requested CPS records. So they're out, and I did that when I first got the case. And so they're out. I'm not sure that I did get information that they would be getting back to me, but I don't think it's until maybe March.
Okay.
I had asked for them too at the beginning, and they said something about 90 days, so it should be around like March or April, something like that too. So
I'm going to try to push this a little bit. I'd like to set the next review hearing for March 30th. Ms. Harlan, I want you to expect that if I redo the parenting plan at that point, I'm going to give some weekends to Mr. Wade. So I just want you to understand that starting right now. Okay. Okay.
yes, and like I said, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to be combative, and I'm not trying to, argue. It's just, this is my life.
What would be really helpful for the next few weeks is if both of you could be cooperative with Ms. Fellows in order to get her the information she needs. Okay?
I've been asking her to come see my house and to talk to, like, that's what I want, so.
All right, so I'll make that change in the parenting plan. There should be a copy of it available by tomorrow if you want to see what the order is.
Does it change today? Because today's Thursday and normally I'd get him today. So does that change today or?
Let's start next week, whatever
Okay.
Week that is. So we'll have you go ahead and pick them up today.
Okay.
Next week we'll go to the plan that I'm putting together.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Is there any way I can ask for like a mediator to, talk between us so, it's not just my mom? Like I have someone willing to do it besides my mom.
We barely even talk. Like, honestly, we just talk like if we're
getting. Our son has been sick every time he's came back from there. And they're sick. So we have to figure this stuff out. And my mom is not really enjoying doing it. Lacey is cussing her out at daycare and making a shit show. And it's not okay.
She told me to be a mom and stuff. She was talking crap to me. I did tell her to go do drugs, but Your Honor, I did not do anything to get his mom off of anything like that. Me and his mom have gotten along amazing. Like me and her were closer than him and her. Like honestly. So
let's. If there are issues like that, I encourage you to direct those to Ms. Fellows and let us know about them. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
All right. Thank you, Estrada. And
have a nice day.
Miranda.
Cody Wade. Mr. Wade, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, welcome. And then we also should have Lacey Harlan. Ms. Harlan, can you hear me?
Yes.
Great, welcome to you also. Ms. Fellows joins us. Welcome to Ms. Fellows.
Yes.
And I believe we're here on, let's see, let me just get my notes for a second. For a guardian ad litem report review, and it looks like the appointment did not happen, well, happened about December, and I didn't see any updates at this point. I'll just check in with the parties to see what your expectations are and any status updates that you could provide. So maybe Ms. Fellows, I could hear from you first.
Your Honor, if I may, we were here in court last, look on, it looks like 2/19 with Commissioner Nelson, and he made some changes to the time that each parent had. His idea was to have a review. It was originally scheduled last week, but I had asked for it to be sent over to this week. But he was looking to have, because how he had ordered it was that the mom was to have basically all the weekends and the dad really wanted to have some weekends. So he was looking at changing things up at this review hearing. I have had quite a bit of contact with both parents, and my recommendation, and both sides know this, I emailed them yesterday. So my recommendation is to change things to a week on, week off. And then have 2 video visits per week and have those scheduled like on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. There not be any romantic interests or anybody introduced to Cashton unless it's been 6 months of a committed relationship. That there be no contact between James Doherty Sr., who is the mother's ex. No alone time with JJ, who is mother's older son. So Cashton should not be left alone with JJ. And that the exchanges happen on Friday after either party gets off work at the daycare.
Okay. All right, thank you, Ms. Fellows. Ms. Harlan, do you have a question?
I do regarding that's fine scheduling. I do have a question about daycare situation. Right now he's going to Core Health where Cody's getting his services, his outpatient or whatever at, and they don't open till 9 a.m. and we were just talking about, I had found, I was actually supposed to go pick up a registration form for him for We Care Daycare, and he's on a couple different lists as well. But then because of Cody's services, I guess he cannot be switched somewhere else. And I go to work at, it was at 9, and now I've been pretty much working like full time. So I'm there at like 7:30 in the morning till about 3:30. And it's just not accommodating at all for me. And I don't know if it's actually true that he can't go to any other daycare, but I'm approved through or through the tribal for daycare to be paid for. I have a $12 copay. I said I'd even pay for it. And I just really would like it to be able to do something like that, be able to get him into a daycare or find out, because if we're going to do week on, week off, that's really going to interrupt my job schedule as well. And I have over $2,000 in bills that I pay every month. So I were talking to Miss Fellows and everything was fine. And then all of a sudden, supposedly it's interrupting Cody's services. But if he wouldn't have used or anything, gotten in trouble for using, he wouldn't even be in these services or need them. So I just feel like I'm being kind of punished in a way, like, because I feel like it just keeps being all about him and everything that he needs.
If I could come now.
Okay, let me just double check, Mr. Wade, make sure, Ms. Harlan, anything else you wanted to share?
I mean, there's a few other things that I'm not happy about, but that's my main concern at this moment, is being able to get him into a childcare.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Wade?
Okay, so the services have nothing to do with me. It's for Cashton and his mental health and his counseling and stuff like that. I already have free daycare set up I have him on the list at We Care, and I have him on the list at the daycare me and Beth talked about. It's on Ocean Beach Highway. It's a church, Family Faith, something like that. But he's been on the list since the day after I talked to Beth. The only thing that would switch is his doctors. And she's trying to get the extra money for him every month, but it would really mess things up for my housing right now. And also about the week on, week off, nothing's been changed with her older son. That's why I filed the parenting plan. He has passed with doing not okay stuff, and some alarming stuff happened to where I filed the parenting plan. Nothing's changed. He's not getting any help. He's still the same person. She put him in counseling, I guess, but it's not the right kind of counseling. And that's a scary situation, sending him back there already. And the judge already said that he's not to be left alone with JJ already. And she's already been doing that. I sent pictures to Beth, her at a tea party with her friends on the weekend. I seen her at the methadone clinic with Jamie at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was. And so she's not following by that already. She's leaving him with her friends. And I'm sure she's not telling her parents or anybody that she's having watching him that they cannot be left alone together. And it's just a scary situation, throwing him back in there for a week at a time.
Okay. Right. Thank you, Mr. Wade. So here's my initial impressions. So in preparing for today's case, I reviewed the minutes from the last hearing, reviewed a few orders back, and I have a very superficial understanding and exposure to the case. I'm hearing things that I've never heard before. I've heard things about daycare. I've heard about week on, week off. I've heard about the prior order, which I was familiar with, the bench order from February. I've heard about James Doherty Sr. for the first time today. I've heard about JJ for the first time today. So all of this information is, it's all very important, and it all pertains to the well-being of a small child. So I think that's a indirect way of me saying that it sounds like you all are very involved in the case and have a good grasp of the facts and what's happening. Ms. Fellows has made a recommendation. Each of you have responded verbally with kind of those initial off-the-cuff concerns. What I've found is that when I and others are forced to put things down in writing, the most salient issues tend to bubble up to the surface, and they tend to receive the most information. And it's written in a more of a dispassionate setting, and it allows for a more reasonable, rational approach. So I'm going to decline to make any changes today. I don't feel like I'm in a position to make any decision related to the proposal. Commissioner Nelson, I believe, will be back next week or the following. I think he's going to be in a better position to make a determination. I don't think there's any harm in continuing the existing plan that was set forth in the February 10th order. And that it's certainly, there may be some concerns about setting it over, but I don't feel comfortable making a decision based on the exceptionally limited information that I have. So I hope that the parties understand that. I apologize that we can't move forward in some manner today, but I just don't think it's appropriate for me to make a decision based on the vacuum of information that I have or in. So let me just double check. I'm going to pull up, see if I can see Commissioner Nelson's schedule in the next little bit when he's going to be back. So bear with me just one moment. Madam Clerk, apparently on this computer, it's not allowing me to click on shared calendars. Do you have access potentially?
I believe he is out through the 10th.
Through the 10th? That's kind of you. Thank you. So we're currently 6. He's back next week. Let me just check base with the parties. Any strong objection if we were to set it over 1 week to the 13th of April at 9 a.m.?
Nope.
Either we do the 13th or the 20th.
20th would work better for me, but I could make it
The
work.
20th is fine.
Okay. Ms. Fellows, do you have a preference?
The 20th is fine.
Okay. Seems like there's a consensus there. So we'll set the matter over to April 20th to further review under Commissioner Nelson's watchful eye, the proposed parenting plan adjustment and the concerns related to that. If the parties are interested in submitting briefing or declarations related to the proposal, you're free to do so. And I think that may be of benefit to Commissioner Nelson. Ms. Harlan, you have a question?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of concerned because I thought we got a guardian ad litem to be able for her to have her talk to people and actually investigate. The only time that I've even had a meeting with her is the very first time. Like, I feel like nothing's being done. I don't feel like anything's being investigated. No one's been talked to. Like, I'm not happy with the whole situation. Nothing was brought up about my son. Me and Cody would still be together. Everything would still be just the way it was. And we'd everything if I wouldn't have broke up with him. Like, there's just a lot of things that I feel like she needs to talk to people. She hasn't even been to his house yet. And like, it's just crazy when he got found doing drugs and everything like that. And he's an outpatient and she still hasn't even been there. Like, and we're supposed to be finishing up stuff. Like, I'm very unhappy over the situation.
Okay, obviously a parenting plan issues and issues touching upon children is near and dear to the heart. And there's some realities related to parenting plans and guardian ad litem work that comes to play, and it may not meet everybody's expectations. There's only a certain amount of time in the day, and investigators do their very best and contact those that they've been referred to and share that information with the court. So I'm sorry for the concerns that you have. When you raised your hand, I was anticipating you had a question.
I'm sorry.
Yes, no, it's okay. There may have been a question kind of tangled in there, but I'll turn to Mr. Wade. You raised your hand. Do you have a question? Otherwise, we're setting it over to the 20th because we're not going to take any action today.
Okay.
No, I don't have any question. I'm just letting you know that Miss Fellows got the CPS reports back or whatever, and it's like 700 pages, so I don't expect her to get it done. That's why I asked for the 20th to give her some more time and to give us some more time. I have some stuff that I need to submit to the courts. It's not a question, but just saying that she has her hands full completely, and she's definitely doing her job.
No, she's not, but.
Ms. Harlan?
I said, no, I don't feel like she has it all. But
I heard you. I heard you. I heard you. That's why you're free to submit declarations and share your vantage point based on facts and information, not necessarily defamation. Thank you.
Okay.
That'll end today's hearing.
Thank you.
And I have both here. And Ms. Fellows, you're on that case.
Yes.
So we're here to check in on visitation. There's been some concerns raised about Miss Harlan being around somebody who uses drugs. And so I want to give everybody a chance to discuss that. And I have some, I've also expressed a concern at the last hearing that Mr. Wade was not getting any weekend time with the child, and I wanted to try to rectify that if I could. I think I want to hear from Ms. Fellows first, and then Mr. Wade, and then I'll end with Ms. Harlan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, there's been a lot of things that have happened since we were in court last, and I am exceptionally happy to report that things have gotten better, and that I am actually making some very significant recommendations. Both parents know about it. They've kind of wrapped their mind around it. So what I'm going to recommend is going to a week on, week off rotating schedule. That way it will give each parent weekend time and during the week time. I'm also recommending that there be 2 video visits. Your Honor has in a prior case been very specific about those video visits, so there's no issues. So I'm recommending or suggesting that they be Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. That there be no romantic significant others introduced to Cashton unless they've been in a committed relationship for 6 months. That the mother not allow James Doherty Sr. to be around Cashton at any time. That is a prior significant other of the mother, and that is a person who is actively using drugs right now. And so that's based on that recommendation. That the mother not leave Cashton alone with her older son, JJ, at this point in time. There is 619 pages of CPS records that I need to review. There's issues or has been issues regarding her son, JJ, but I'm not sure exactly what all of those are. So that's why I'm just making that recommendation for this point in time. And then my recommendation is also that the exchanges be on Fridays at the daycare. So those are significant changes. Both parents have talked about and agreed on to lift or dismiss their respective restraining orders against the other. I believe that they have court hearings, I think next week, but mom actually talked to me or emailed me about it. I talked with both of them actually on the phone as well, and they both agree they want to be able to communicate with each other instead of having to use a third party. I have suggested using a communication app like Our Family Wizard or Talking Parents or something like that. Both of them seem like they would be agreeable to that as well. But what I would definitely like to report to the court is that both parents have, with me, talked about wanting to work together with the other parent. They want to be able to learn how to co-parent. That's a significant change with these parents, and I'm thrilled. I really want to see how well this works out. So I would like to have this recommendation put into place for like maybe about 60 days, and then be able to come back to court and hopefully be able to finalize.
All right, thank you. Mr. Wade, any comment?
No, yeah, actually, I don't have any objections to any of it, but the 2 video visits a week, I was kind of, I'm not objecting to more than that. Like if I wanted to call my son while he's with her, if she wanted to call me or her son or our son while he's with me, or video visit, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Just the 2 is kind of, I feel like I would like to tell him good night and stuff, and if that would be okay. But other than that, I'm good with everything.
You want to be able to contact him more than twice a week, is that what you're
saying?
saying?
I'm not going to be blowing up her phone or anything like that, but maybe, I'm sure, I don't know if she would be agreeing to it, but if not, then I'm okay with it. But
All right, thank you. Ms. Harlan?
I'm in agreement with all of that, and I agree with him as well. I mean, because a week apart from our son, we're both very close with him and always have been. And it would definitely be nice to be able to talk to him and say goodnight and things like that. I don't want to fight with him. We're trying to get past this, obviously, and it makes me really happy. Do we have to use the app like that, or could we possibly use like Messenger or just be able to call each other? I mean, because it's just a lot having the courts involved with everything, and just want to get back to more of like a normal type situation.
So using the app, we find is important because it will keep a permanent record of that communication. And I think at least for the next 60 days, I would like that. And I see you're on, I'm going to be the judicial officer on Monday, where you're asking for a termination of the protection order. And that will probably be a condition of terminating it, is that you use the Our Family Wizard app, if that's the one that you choose to use. Now, if things are going great at the end of 60 days and we enter into a permanent arrangement, then we might be able to step back from that. But I think the next 60 days, I would recommend that. Mr. Wade.
Yeah, I was kind of against the app also, just because it costs $100, and I'm trying to get the courts out of it. I'm not trying to fight with her either. I'm just trying to get my life normal. I have so many appointments and so many everything, and then having to remember to do the app thing, and I don't want to get in trouble for trying to call him was, I don't know. I would rather not be the app too, if possible, and see how that goes. And if it doesn't go good, then we can go to that. I tried to talk to Beth about that also, but the restraining order thing is kind of, I don't want to have to communicate through that if possible. I tried to talk to Beth and let her know that too, but yeah.
Ms. Fellows, what's your thought after hearing this conversation?
I think that there's maybe some misconception about what this communication app is about. And I've tried to explain it to both of them. It's just that it's one platform to be able to communicate instead of doing texting and email and messaging. Those are all different platforms. Like Your Honor said, it's one place to have communication. And that's all that's about. It's not that they can't phone call each other, but it's also a way to document things, about doctor's appointments or, things like that. It's not where the courts are involved or anything. Our Family Wizard, I did let them know that there is a way for them to give me access for while I'm in the case. That way I can kind of monitor what they're doing. But other than that, it's a one place for the communication. So I do think that would be a really good thing to do. And between these two parents, there's been a lot of back and forth. If the court, I'm sure, remembers the court hearings where things have just been strewn about and accusations made and things like that. And so really trying to keep this forward motion, keep them on an even keel as we move forward with like doing this week on, week off. Makes sense. And I think once they see the app and see the benefits to that, I think then they'll be more understanding about it. But at least for these next 60 days, I do think it's important.
Is there a time where is it Cashton is out of daycare?
Yeah.
What time is I'm just for the Friday transfer? What time would that be?
He's only allowed to be there for 4 or 5 hours because it's just a different daycare situation. We're trying to get that changed, and so I'm trying to get the protection order off too, so we can communicate about that also. But it's usually 2:30 or 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And if I could say something else,
Sure.
I don't have a problem with the parenting app. It's just, I heard you say something about the restraining order. I want it to be able to, if she needs to have my mother or me watch him while she has to go do something, or if I need to have her help me with something, later down the road, I want that to be able to be okay without getting in trouble and having to go to jail or something like that. I don't mind the app. I just, if there's needs to be other kind of communication or contact, I don't want that to be an issue.
Okay, I understand that.
because I know that I have a hard time doing it by myself, and I'm sure she does too. And I don't know, I just feel like it would be easier if we could, if she needed help, she could drop him off at my mother's house, or where when I get a place or whatever. I just don't want it to be a thing to where we're going to get in trouble for swapping kids somewhere else besides daycare if need be, or helping each other out if need be. I don't know.
I don't see that as an issue. All I was saying about the protection order was a condition of letting it go. I wanted, I guess, most of the communication to go through a parenting app, so that there'd be a record of it that could be looked at if we needed to.
Okay.
So first of all, as I do whenever I can, I want to commend everyone here for working together. Everybody had to get through a number of issues, and I'm really glad we worked up to this particular recommendation. And it's always better for your children if you're getting along. And Ms. Fellows, I appreciate your work in this and working with both parties to get to this agreement. So it will be the order of the court that there be a week on, week off, beginning with Friday at or before 3 p.m. from the daycare until the next Friday at or before 3 p.m. The parent receiving the child will be the one picking up at the daycare for the next week. During that week, the parent who does not have the child will have at least 2 video visits on Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. But it sounds like both parents are agreeable to any other additional video visits or telephone calls if they would like. So I'm not going to get in the way of that.
Thank you.
You're to not introduce any other significant others to the child until the relationship's gone on for 6 months. James Doherty Sr. is not to be around the child at any time.
I'm agreed on that as well.
Okay. The child is not to be left alone with your older son, JJ. And I will take all of this into account on Monday when you're asking me to lift the restraining order. And it's likely that I will.
Thank you.
All right.
I did have one question. So when would the week on, week off start? Because today I pick up Cashton and have him till Monday usually. So
can we have today be the beginning of Ms. Harlan's week, and then next Friday, Mr. Wade, you would pick up Cashton?
Yes, I agree to that. So he'll start today, then go with her, and then come back Friday.
Yeah. So you'll get Thursday, Friday this week, and then starting the next week, it will be Mr. Wade's week.
Okay.
Okay.
So, I have a calendar floating here somewhere. I'll just to be clear about. In terms of Fridays, the 21st through the 28th will be Ms. Harlan's week. The 28th through May 5th will be Mr. Wade's week, and then it will alternate.
Okay.
Okay.
What about the review in 60 days?
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
So it's the 20th. We want to go to June. That would be June 22nd.
Okay.
At 9 a.m. If there's a need, either of you can note a motion before that time. Hopefully that won't come up, but I just want you to be aware you can do that. Also, Ms. Fellows could put this on the docket should she feel it necessary. But hopefully I don't see you till then, and we have a good discussion on the 22nd. Okay.
Thank you so much.
This is a wonderful way to end this docket. So thank you and good luck to both.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cody Wade and Lacey Harlan here. I don't hear them. We were just going to check in. Miss Fellows, you are here. I had ordered a week on, week off schedule And I set this day to simply check in to see how that was going and make sure it was going. Do you have any update on that?
I do. I emailed both parents on May 8th. I did hear back from the father. The next day, he said things are going absolutely wonderful. He and the mom are communicating really well and things are going well. I'm surprised that neither one of them are here, because they have appeared at the hearings, but maybe they didn't, maybe they forgot. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that was what the review today was about. I'm not sure I need to set any more reviews on this docket, and you probably need to be discharged.
I haven't been paid in full. Both parents owe a balance. So before I'm discharged, I would like to make sure that I get paid.
You want to set a review also on that? I could set that for July 27th and address those issues.
That would be much appreciated.
Okay, let's do that. We'll set a review on the guardian ad litem fee for July 27th. And if you're not paid by then, we can take some action.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Next, I have Cody Wade and Lacey Harlan. This is cause number 22300483008. Do I have Cody Wade or Lacey Harlan or Ms. Fellows? Okay. In this matter, what I'm going to do is put this is also a conflict for me and the parties aren't appearing. So I'm going to give everybody one additional week to see if we can get everybody before the court. I'm going to set this matter over to August 3rd.
Your Honor, this is Beth Fellows, guardian ad litem.
Good morning.
Good morning. If we could take the Wade Harlan matter, it will take all of about 2 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So this is Cody Wade and Lacey Harlan, cause 223-48308. Looks like Ms. Fellows is here as the guardian ad litem. I'll see if Cody Wade or Lacey Harlan are here. If you are, please speak up and let us know you're here.
I don't believe that they will be. This was a review of the payment for the GAL fees. I would like to actually apologize to the court, although it was not in front of Your Honor. We were here last week and I was having technical difficulties and could not log on. So it was Commissioner Chelsea Baldwin who set it over to this docket. But this really needs to be stricken because way back, I think in June, when I questioned whether or not the GAL fees were paid, I was mistaken. They were paid in full by both parents. So this matter is done, dealt with.
Great. That does make for a short hearing. So we'll just put that in the court minutes that the fee, GAL fee has been paid, and we'll just strike today's hearing.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
Good. Thanks for that update. I appreciate it.
Wade and Harlan.
Yes, Your Honor. This is Beth Fellows, GAL. It does not look like either party is here.
And the motion was not served. Have you got any information on this that I need?
What I know of is actually the mother who filed the motion actually wants to have it go away.
Okay.
So I did talk to her. She did say she may not show up and she figured that it would just be defaulted, stricken, whatever.
All right, then I'll terminate the order, and if and when we have them back, we can go further with it. Ms. Fellows, it would seem probably simplest not to terminate your services at this point, but it sounds like everything can just remain in abeyance for now.
Yes. I have not filed a final report, but they are doing a week on, week off things appear to be going well. I have been wanting to see, since they have now split apart, different households, see how that goes, and then file a report.
All right, thank you.
Yes,
I'll leave any dates to you and the parties then.
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, do we need an order terminating even though the
Yes, please.
The hearing with Judge Warning was the last time this case was on the docket. The parents haven't appeared in court again since the August hearing where they decided they were getting along just great now and they no longer wanted the court involvement in their parenting plan. I think they decided to just stop coming to court because they decided they didn't need it. But it is interesting to me that after the hearing in August and before the one in September, there must have been some sort of incident between them because Mom filed a police report under seal and she filed for a show cause motion and a TRO before changing her mind and telling Beth Fellows she just wanted it to go away. It's been nearly a year and a half since the final hearing in this case, and neither of them have tried to return. So I really hope that's because they're truly getting along and parenting well together, and not because they've fallen down the rabbit hole again. It's hard to believe that they were able to put aside their differences so quickly when they'd still been bickering about everything only 2 weeks earlier. But I'm not sure how much they'll need to worry about the court being in their business anyway, because since there were no motions or anything filed for over a year in the case, it appears to have been dismissed for want of prosecution, meaning they'll have to start all over again if one of them decides to pursue this again. See you next time.